They don't fear you because you yell. They don't fear you because you fight. They fear you because they don't know what you'll do next. In the battlefield of life, the most terrifying force is the one that moves in silence. The man who doesn't react, doesn't explain himself, and doesn't seek validation is the one who holds absolute control. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Think about that. No anger, no retaliation, just an unshakable presence that leaves your enemies wondering, what is he thinking? What is he planning? The moment they start asking those questions, you've already won. Want to make your enemies fear you without saying a word? Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it. But before we dive in, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because these are lessons they never teach in school, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Rule 1. The power of unpredictability. Fear thrives in the unknown. People aren't afraid of what they understand. They fear what they can't predict. When you are completely unpredictable, your enemies never know what to expect. They can't read your intentions, they can't anticipate your next move, and that uncertainty drives them insane. The greatest warriors in history were not just strong, they were unreadable. The moment your enemies believe they have figured you out, they stop fearing you. But when they see you operate in silence, when your actions contradict their expectations, they hesitate. That hesitation is your power. Most people broadcast their emotions. They whine, complain, and reveal their insecurities to the world. This makes them weak and predictable. But when you are a man of few words and calculated actions, you leave them guessing. A Stoic knows that silence forces respect. If you react emotionally, you lose control. But if you remain composed, letting your actions do the talking, you create an aura of mystery that commands attention. When you don't reveal your weaknesses, people assume you have none. And that assumption, it terrifies them. 2. Control your reactions. Most people are controlled by their emotions. They get angry, they get defensive, they react impulsively. And every time they react, they give power to others. But the man who doesn't react, he is feared. Imagine insulting two different men. The first one immediately argues back, yells, or tries to defend himself. You know you got under his skin. The second man, he doesn't even flinch. He looks at you, completely unfazed, and moves on as if your words meant nothing. Who looks stronger? The second man just demonstrated total control. And control is intimidating. The Stoics believed in mastering one's emotions. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The moment someone realizes that their insults, threats, or attempts to provoke you have no effect, they start to fear you. Because they know, if they can't shake you with words, what else are you capable of? The strongest men in history were not the ones who shouted the loudest. They were the ones who could sit in total silence, watching, waiting, choosing when to act, not reacting to every little thing. When you train yourself to control your reactions, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability, it scares people. 3. The cold, unshakable stare. Nothing unsettles a person more than a stare that doesn't break. When most people talk, they glance around, avoid eye contact, or look down when they feel nervous. But a man who maintains steady, unwavering eye contact projects dominance without saying a word. Try this. Next time someone speaks to you, don't break eye contact first. Hold your gaze longer than what's comfortable. Stay calm, composed, and let silence fill the space. Most people will crack under the pressure. They will shift, look away, or start rambling to fill the silence. Why? Because they feel exposed. A steady, unshaken stare communicates confidence, strength, and control. It forces the other person to acknowledge your presence and, more importantly, to respect it. A predator in the wild locks onto its prey without hesitation. It doesn't fidget, it doesn't second guess. It watches until the moment is right to strike. That's exactly how you should operate. Your enemy should feel your presence before you ever speak. 4. Mastering body language. Words are cheap. Real power comes from what you don't say, your body language. A weak man makes himself small, crossing his arms, slouching, avoiding eye contact. He shrinks in the presence of stronger people. But a man who radiates silent power, he doesn't have to say a word. His posture commands attention. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin slightly lifted. Move slowly. Rushed movements show nervousness. Keep your hands relaxed, never fidget. Take up space. Dominant people don't shrink, they expand. Look at historical figures who held immense power. They all had one thing in common: presence. When you own the space around you, people naturally defer to you. They sense strength in your stillness, in your composure. And that kind of presence, it makes people nervous. 5. Doing the unexpected. Nothing disrupts an enemy more than breaking their expectations. Weak men are predictable. You insult them, they react. You challenge them, they get defensive. You ignore them, they beg for attention. But the man who operates outside of expectation, he's terrifying. Instead of responding to insults, you smile and walk away. Instead of seeking revenge, you become more successful. Instead of getting emotional, you remain cold and unreadable. When people can't predict you, they can't control you. One of the greatest strategies in war is deception. The enemy expects one thing, and you give them something else. The moment they think they have you figured out, you shift gears. When your enemies think you will react emotionally, don't react at all. When they think you'll fight back, stay silent and watch. When they think you'll crumble, stand even taller. The greatest power is the power of uncertainty. When your enemies don't know what you'll do next, they start to fear what you might be capable of. 6. The strength of walking away. Weak men chase. They chase arguments, they chase validation, and worst of all, they chase the people who disrespect them. But a powerful man? He walks away. And that, more than anything, terrifies people. See, when you engage in meaningless battles, you lower yourself to the level of the person provoking you. They want a reaction. They want you to fight back. Because the moment you do, they know they have power over you. But when you refuse to engage, when you simply walk away without a word, you send a message that is louder than any insult you could throw back. You're saying, "You are not even worth my time." And that destroys them. People hate feeling insignificant. They crave your attention, whether it's positive or negative. And when you deny them that satisfaction, it makes them question their own importance. This is why Stoics mastered the art of detachment. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste time on fools. Seneca didn't argue with weak men. They knew that true power comes from knowing which battles are beneath you. Walking away isn't weakness, it's a display of absolute confidence. It tells your enemies, "I don't need to prove myself to you, I've already won." And when you make someone feel irrelevant, they will fear you more than they ever hated you. 7. Silence as a weapon. A fool speaks just to be heard. A wise man speaks only when necessary. Most people fear silence. They feel the need to fill every gap with words, even if those words are meaningless. But silence? Silence is power. When you don't respond to an insult, people wonder what you're thinking. When you don't react to provocation, people question your next move. When you pause before speaking, people lean in to hear what you have to say. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to think, and in that uncertainty, you control the entire interaction. Julius Caesar once said, "Say less than necessary." The less you speak, the more authority your words carry when you finally do. Let your silence be a mirror. Make people face their own insecurities. Let them drown in their own words while you sit back observing. And when you finally do speak, every word will hit like a bullet. 8. Ruthless self-discipline. The most feared men in history were not the loudest. They were the most disciplined. People don't fear the man who indulges in every weakness. They fear the man who denies himself pleasure in pursuit of something greater. Why? Because discipline is power. A man who can control his emotions, his urges, and his actions is a man who can't be manipulated. You can't tempt him, you can't provoke him, you can't break him. The Stoics believed in mastering the self before mastering the world. If you wake up every day and train your mind and body, if you can say no to distractions, if you are unmoved by temptation, you become something rare. And what is rare is feared. People respect strength, but they fear discipline, because deep down they know they don't have it. When your enemies see that you don't need their approval, their validation, or their distractions, they will realize that you are playing a different game entirely, and a man who plays by his own rules is unstoppable. 9. Building an aura of power. Power isn't just what you do, it's how you carry yourself. Some people enter a room and immediately everyone turns to look. They haven't said a word, they haven't done anything extreme, but their energy demands attention. This is called presence, and it's something you build through every action in your life. The way you walk, with purpose, never rushed. The way you stand, grounded, unshaken. The way you observe, watching, analyzing, never flinching. The way you speak, only when necessary, with confidence and precision. You don't need to be the biggest, the loudest, or the richest man in the room. You just need to radiate control. Control over yourself, control over your emotions, control over your reactions. When people see that nothing phases you, that nothing shakes your foundation, they will assume you are capable of anything. And that assumption is fear itself. 10. The Stoics' ultimate revenge. The greatest revenge is not anger. It's not violence. It's not even proving your enemies wrong. It's becoming so powerful, so successful, so unshaken, that your enemies are forced to watch you rise while they stay exactly where they are. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Think about that. They expect you to argue. You remain silent. They expect you to seek revenge. You walk away. They expect you to fail. You thrive beyond their imagination. That is the Stoic way. Because nothing torments a weak man more than watching someone he tried to destroy become untouchable. Your enemies should never hear your response. They should never see your struggle. They should never know what's coming. All they should see is your success. And that will haunt them forever. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 99% of people. Because most men, they waste their energy trying to prove themselves to people who don't matter. But you now understand the true power of silence, discipline, and control. And if you want more unbreakable wisdom like this, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Because in a world full of weak men, we're here to build legends. This is Stoic World, and we're just getting started.